The glass shattered like a scream, spraying across the soft white carpet of the nursery. The rocking chair was overturned, the crib splintered, and tiny pastel decorations that once symbolized hope were ripped apart, shredded with merciless hands. Amid the destruction stood a woman with rage burning in her eyes, her fingers clutching a broken mobile that had once hung above the crib. This room had been a sanctuary, a place of dreams for a mother waiting to welcome her first child into the world. But now it was a war zone, ruined in minutes by jealousy, bitterness, and cruelty. And when Emma, swollen with pregnancy and glowing with anticipation, opened the door to see what had been done, her heart nearly gave out. She clutched her belly and collapsed into the doorway, staring at the wreckage that had once been her baby's first safe haven. Before I go further, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stories Collection. Your support helps us bring you more powerful stories that remind us all of hope, strength, and humanity. Emma had always imagined the moment she would hold her child in her arms as the beginning of a perfect chapter. She was married to Daniel, a wealthy businessman whose success had given them everything she thought she needed. Their home was filled with luxury, but Emma never asked for jewels or dresses. All she wanted was love, stability, and a family. When she found out she was pregnant, she believed her dreams had finally taken root. She poured herself into designing the nursery, carefully painting the walls a soft cream, choosing each tiny outfit, and folding them neatly in the drawers. Every evening, she would sit in the rocking chair, rub her belly, and whisper lullabies to the baby inside her. She thought Daniel would share in her joy. But Daniel's eyes had been wandering for some time, drawn toward a younger, glamorous woman named Victoria, whose sharp edges and selfish desires masked themselves as confidence and charm. Victoria despised Emma. To her, Emma represented everything in the way of securing Daniel's undivided attention and wealth. When Daniel wasn't around, she would mock Emma's simplicity, sneer at her faith in love, and remind herself that Emma's domestic dreams were laughable compared to her own hunger for status. It was Victoria who stormed into the nursery one afternoon while Daniel was at work. She knew Emma would come home soon. She wanted Emma to see the wreckage, to bleed emotionally, to cry, to suffer. In her twisted mind, destroying the nursery wasn't just about breaking wood and glass, it was about crushing Emma's spirit. When Emma found the nursery in ruins, her sobs echoed through the hallways of the mansion. She collapsed on the floor, trembling as her unborn child shifted within her. The betrayal cut deeper when Daniel came home and didn't even defend her. Instead, his silence spoke volumes. He was too entangled in Victoria's hold, too afraid of her anger, and too blind to see the cruelty she had inflicted on his wife and unborn child. That night, Emma sat alone, cradling her belly in her arms, whispering promises to her baby that she would protect them no matter what, even if it meant facing the world alone. The months that followed were unbearable. Emma's health weakened from the stress, and Daniel's absence became a constant wound. He spent his time entertaining Victoria, parading her at dinners, while Emma's world became smaller and lonelier. But deep inside her, Emma's strength refused to die. She refused to let her baby be born into despair. She took her pain and turned it into determination. Slowly, she began to gather what little savings she had set aside over the years, money Daniel didn't know about. She found a small apartment in the quieter part of town, far away from Victoria's cruelty and Daniel's indifference. One evening, walking through the city, Emma noticed a little shop with a faded sign, "Sweet Beginnings." It was a small baby store, warm and inviting, filled with cribs, blankets, toys, and clothes. She stepped inside and felt tears sting her eyes. It was everything she had once dreamed of, the life and love she had tried to build in that nursery. But unlike her destroyed room, this space was filled with kindness. The owner, an older woman with gentle eyes, greeted her with warmth. Emma shared her story in pieces, not everything, but enough for the woman to understand her need for hope. Something in that moment changed Emma. She didn't just want to buy from the shop, she wanted to rebuild her life through it. Slowly, through sacrifice, courage, and the fire of motherhood pushing her forward, Emma made an offer to buy the store when the owner announced her plans to retire. The months were not easy. Emma worked tirelessly, sometimes late into the night, balancing her pregnancy with the demands of setting up a business. She learned to keep the books, negotiate with suppliers, and decorate the store with the same love she had once poured into her nursery. Her belly grew, her exhaustion grew, but so did her hope. When her baby was born, a beautiful little girl she named Grace, Emma's shop became more than a store. It became a sanctuary for mothers. She welcomed women who were struggling, who had little money, and sometimes gave them items at no cost. Her kindness spread quickly, and soon, Sweet Beginnings became a thriving place where mothers shared their stories, supported each other, and found hope just as Emma once had. Daniel's empire, meanwhile, began to crumble. His businesses faltered under bad investments, and his relationship with Victoria turned poisonous. She wanted his money, not his struggles, and when fortune slipped from his hands, she abandoned him without a word. It was during this downfall that Daniel wandered through the city, trying to escape his shame. His eyes caught a storefront glowing with soft lights and laughter, Sweet Beginnings. Curious, he stepped inside. And there she was, Emma, his estranged wife, standing behind the counter with Grace in her arms. She looked stronger, radiant even, her eyes filled with a peace he had never given her. Around her, mothers and children smiled, the shop alive with warmth and joy. Daniel froze. He saw the cribs, the toys, the carefully arranged blankets. He saw what Victoria had once destroyed, rebuilt not in a single room, but in an entire world Emma had created with her own hands. And then it hit him, this was the very store he had overlooked, the dream he had taken for granted, the woman he had abandoned. Overcome, Daniel sank into a chair and wept. He cried not just for what he had lost, but for what Emma had built without him. He realized too late that the nursery Victoria had destroyed had only been the beginning. Emma had turned ashes into something unshakable, something eternal. Emma did not gloat. She did not scold him. She simply handed a toy to a waiting customer and turned away, her strength speaking louder than any words. Daniel left the store knowing he could never undo the damage, but also knowing that Emma had found her destiny, her independence, and her power. The woman he once abandoned now stood taller than ever, not defined by him, but by the love she gave and the lives she touched. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stories Collection. Every click and comment helps us continue to share powerful stories of resilience, hope, and the beauty of second chances. And before we end, we have a special request. Please comment below, what does kindness mean to you?